his opponent's paying attention to the upkeep by asking that question.
A little bit of timing chicanery going on there, yeah.
Yep. Completely legitimate, pretty crafty.
3 right, yeah.
And that kind of thing is perhaps more important now than it's ever been. When I was talking to players before the tournament started, and I said, you know, do you have an edge during the draft? Do you have an edge during deck building or in play? Which are the three sort of schemes of the game? Where does the edge really come? And they said, almost to a man, they said, you know what? People know what to draft. There are pick orders out there. Everyone practices Magic Online, though couldn't for this particular tournament, which is one of the reasons, of course, they have these formats when Magic Online isn't available for thousands upon thousands of games to be analysed and sifted through. The pros get to have first crack, if you like. But that facet of the game, the pro said most people know roughly what to do with the draft. The deck build, no, there's really very little edge there. You might get a tiny edge over understanding that 16 land is possible, rather than, oh, I really don't know, I don't want to get myself screwed, so I'll play 17 and be safe. And you have a tiny edge there maybe. But almost to a man, they said, you know what, particularly Sam Stein was very vocal about this. He said, you know what, it's when you get to the cards and you actually have them in play, and it's like, can I make this guy dance? Can you make your guys dance? Well, turns out mine can do the quick step, the foxtrot, and the tango. How about you, Disco Boy?
Yep. Marcio had a look at a hand with Elvish Harbinger and a Fertile Ground. Not too much action there. So if Nico can survive with what's on the board, and granted Marcio's board position is pretty solid,
yep.
he could get himself back in the game if he remembers to utilize his Cream of the Crop.
All right, so Fertile Ground for Carvalho. That's not particularly exciting with 43,000 mana in play.
Of course, most of them searched out with that Everbark Shaman.
Yep.
They're playing a game of draw go here. With
this goes on the stack, right? So if I play Changeling, does this go on the stack? Then I can pump this and look for more.
Nikolai Herzog with a strong question there to see if he gets to sneak a peek at a couple extra cards.
Okay.
Okay, so table judge there in the nattily attired judge, might I say, though. We've got some pretty incredible outfits. I cannot believe I spent an entire day on camera in one of those green.
You didn't like the shirts?
I think they were incredible. That's the neutral word I've gone for.
I like the shirts.
I think they suited you, Bill. I got to say, I can see you and your fellow Iowans in shirts like that.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. It's always nice once in a while to have a pro tour, spice things up a little bit.
Absolutely, and I know, in fact, so many pros actually turn up even now wearing their Honolulu shirts, because that is just one of the coolest things they've ever had on tour.
Yep. Looks like Nico's going to keep a good one on top there, the Imperious Perfect, which is going to give him some inevitability if his opponent can't come up with a solution to it.
Explain what you mean. That's another key word that comes up at high-level Magic. Mm-hmm. What is inevitability?
Well, Rich, inevitability is a term that means, given the situation as it stands, going infinite, quote-unquote, taking forever, you would eventually overwhelm your opponent and win for certain.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that he would gain inevitability is because the Imperious Perfect would continue, regardless of what other card draws provide, cranking out 2/2 creatures each turn, 1/1 with the +1/+1, and that would eventually overwhelm his opponent's resources. He simply has to have enough attackers over the number of blockers his opponent has to deal 12 damage.
All right, fair enough. So inevitability, if that's a new one to you, you've probably experienced it a million times. It's like, I can't lose. Well, that's kind of inevitability, but that's what we call it at this level. So thanks for that, Bill, for that explanation.
No problem.
All right. 10 monsters on the board. Nothing in the red zone. A lot of land each.
Nico's figuring out what he wants to keep on top from his Cream of the Crop for the Imperious Perfect. Now, with limited decks only being 40 cards, it's important to remember that knowing the order of his library is going to potentially become relevant. We've seen him take 7, 10, and now 12 cards, keep 3 of them, and put the rest on the bottom. It won't be soon before he's cycling back through cards he's already seen. If Nico can remember the order in which he put them back, he'll have an advantage over his opponent because he'll know every single card draw that's coming up.
Is that quite an ask? That sounds like quite an ask, particularly given his mental state at the moment with just simply triggering the thing. I mean, is that the kind of thing that pros do remember? I mean, I know that in particular, if you think of the German juggernaut, not only Kai, but Dirk Babarowski, Marco Bloom, they made an absolute fortune out of memorizing pack orders a long time ago. The idea that you could just, memorize where cards lay and where they were going around the draft, you would see that. And they did extremely well out of that. Is this something that they would do? Because I would never expect to remember the, 12, 15 cards I'd seen in a game.
It's definitely something that you want to try to work on. You know, if your mental game's not able to remember all the cards there, or at least remember the order that the relevant cards are in, and then blank, blank, blank with the lands.
Okay, so Cloud Thresher comes in.
It's a 7/7. Looks like the Portuguese player from Lisbon is trying to figure out the best way to block.
So, what are we going to do, Marcio Cavalli? There he is, thinking away. Hand to mouth again. And Herzog. I tell you what, if Herzog comes out of this, he will be the happiest man to see the lunchtime finish line in the building, I guarantee. Because he's got some serious head thinking to do.
Yep.
Triple block. Have we got a spell coming out of Cavalli's hand? He's thinking about it.
Yep. It looks like Nico indicated he's going to try to kill the 4/4 and the 3/3 from his opponent, get a 2-for-1. Of course, his opponent will get to search out 3 forests when his Seed Guide Ash goes to the graveyard. But at this point in time, with the amount of lands he's searched out already with the Everbark Shaman, it doesn't look like that's going to be that relevant. And of course, got the Gilt Leaf Seer in play. Well, he's got the Fistful of Force that we saw. Gilt Leaf Seer would potentially benefit from the Seed Guide Ash going to the graveyard, because it would let him thin out some lands and then put the top 2 action cards on top.
All right.
A lot of thinking to do. Carvalho's determined he's going to play the Fistful. Now he's got to figure out which creature he wants to save. The Weed Pruner right at the moment, not doing that much. Not doing that much for him. His opponent doesn't have any 1/1s or X1s that he's able to kill each turn. Looks like he's going to save the 4/4.
And it also looks like, I don't know whether you picked up a warning there for slow play, but he certainly got an indication that it was time to move on. Perhaps the judge is hungry.
Yeah. Moving into that lunch break after this round is over. Yeah, good point.
No, they don't do it like that. I can definitely assure you of that. That's not part of the DCI program.
No, and it's important to remember that even though you have a tough situation, you still have to make a decision in a timely fashion. And Fistful of Force on 2 creatures, when you've got this type of pressure on you, you want to make the right decision, but sometimes judges have to remind you that you need to hurry up.
Absolutely so. Spring Cleaning for the Lignify.
Now, if he hits on the Clasher, he's also going to get the Cream of the Crop for free.
Ooh. Alright, so Clash, that's Game Trail Changeling.
Just enough.
And that's enough, isn't it? Yeah.
No, it's just enough to prevent the Clash to go off, because his opponent had Violet Paul. I'm not sure that I want to. I'm not sure that I want to prevent the Clash from going off in that way.
Alright.
It might have been Skeletal Changeling.
Yeah, I think
was that what it was? Yeah.
So that's Earthborn, just there from Nico, was that? A Briarhorn. Let's have a look. Oh, it was Earthborn, yeah.
Yep, and his opponent's still sitting on a Lash Out, I believe, that he's been trying to hit the mountain for at least the red source. It doesn't look like he's been able to do it, and that certainly is coming back to haunt him. Looks like we're going to see the Game Trail Changeling from Nico. He will not fail to forget the Cream. He'll definitely be resolving it. Unfortunately, he sees 4 lands. Probably not what he was hoping to find. Going to put 3 of them on the bottom. Put 1 of them on top. If he can get his cards under control there. Yep, there we see him counting through his library. Counting through his library, finding out how much further until he cycles back through the cards that he knows. And that Lash Out actually is in Nikolai Herzog's hand. Said Carvalho, meant the Norwegian. Looks like he must have boarded it in for whatever reason against his opponent, because that started off in his sideboard.
Yep, certainly did.
That was one window I needed, I think. Yeah.
You can hear Nico talk about the window.
Absolutely, and